section of Bhagavad Gita. Okay, the purpose by Bhagavad Gita was spoken by Krishna would become clear to all of us as we go through these chapters. But I would like to go over the essence, right? If you read the whole Bhagavad Gita, what is the message which Bhagavad Gita is trying to present? And we sometimes see on the WhatsApp group these different summary of the Bhagavad Gita chapter comes, right? Which are not authentic. So what the Bhagavad Gita talks about the spirit soul. So who we are a spiritual being, an eternal part of the divine, the source of all creation. So we are a spiritual being. Okay. Material body. In our journey through the material world, we are encased within the physical body, right? So while we are in the human birth or animal life, anybody, like we are have the if we are taking the birth, then we will have a material body, even though we are a spiritual soul. What is our quest? Quest is search for love. We look for true love, which resides deep within our own hearts. We all are seeking love, right? Whether it's our material life or spiritual life, we are seeking love. What is the material pursuit? Due to being subjected to the three modes of material nature, we become frustrated chasing happiness through material pursuits only to find they bring us suffering. So what is the material pursuit? See, what everybody is trying to do, due to being subjected to the three modes. So we are all coming under the modes of nature, three modes of nature. And due to that, we become frustrated, chasing happiness. Because we are seeking happiness, we are chasing happiness, and through material pursuits, ultimately what we find that we are always suffering. Means it just the so-called happiness comes, but then so-called misery is there, right? So we learned that this material world is created. There is a purpose, and this is the nature of the material world. What does the yoga means? The wise seek the path of yoga, meaning union with the Lord. Yoga means to connect. What is dharma? We should perform our duties, which is dharma, with detachment, tolerating life's ups and downs while remaining steadfast in both material and spiritual responsibility. So we have to take care of both our swadharma, which is the dharma based on the bodily platform, but most important is dharma based on the spiritual platform, right? So we all have to do our dharma. What is bhakti? Bhakti is through selfless devotional service. We rekindle our forgotten connection with the divine and find truth satisfaction. This is the bhakti. So, right, the bhakti is this is the love between the devotee and Krishna. So, love between devotee and Krishna is called bhakti, and the bhakti yoga is connection with the divinity, right? So, through selfless devotional service. So, while we are doing selfless devotional service, we rekindle our forgotten connection. So it may seem little hard, but we all had wonderful connection with the Supreme. And that's the reason when we start connecting with the Supreme Krishna, then we start feeling the fulfillment, deep fulfillment within our heart. Okay. And then we find the true satisfaction. And how to attain the Supreme by constantly contemplating and worshipping the divine, who is none other than the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. We progress towards the ultimate goal of attaining him, which is the perfection of liberation. And then what happens? We are finally back to Godhead. Thus, our journey, which began from our original spiritual abode, culminates in our return to that sacred place, realm. Right? So, this is the Bhagavad Gita. This is what Bhagavad Gita is ultimately going to tell us, that hey, we are all material being. We have the soul. We are looking for the love. This material world is full of misery, and our dharma is to work without attachment. Okay, and with that attachment, when we do that, we'll discover the true bhakti yoga, and through that bhakti yoga, we will attain the Supreme and we'll be back to Godhead. Hare Krishna Mataji. Okay, so that's what we are going to be. So if you just want to summarize, this is a wonderful summary. I really liked it. Now let's open the chapter 7. गले में खिचखिच क्या करें? विक्स की गोली लो, खिसखिश दूर करो. See, few things never goes right. So when we in the childhood, we used to hear this, right? So that becomes our conditioning. This is called conditioning. The more we spend time with something, especially in the young age, that becomes the habit. So that's the reason from the very beginning, everybody needs to be taught about the spiritual knowledge. And as we are progressing, the earlier we start learning about the spiritual knowledge, the better it is. Otherwise, to break the habit later, once we hit 50, 60, it will start becoming difficult and more difficult. Very difficult. Because old habit dies hard. We have heard about that, right? Okay, so last week we did the storyline, right? What chapter 7 is talking about. So tell me what you recall. What is chapter 7 is all about? Little bit. Tell me. Okay. What is the connection from chapter 6 to chapter 7? And what is Bhakti Yoga?
We used to reach the God until chapter 6. They were talking about the Karma Yoga and then
Karma Yoga and
from chapter 7 onwards, of course.
yeah. But what are the different yoga system we have learned so far? Yeah, quickly.
Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga.
Okay. And Karma Yoga, what is Karma Yoga? Quick, fast.
So through our actions, by offering our actions, we seek to connect with God. Detached, like we give the results of the work.
Yeah.
Very good. So through our action, we connect with the God when we do the Nishkam Karma Yoga, right? So that is the connection Karma Yoga. And what is while in the process, what happens?
We get purified.
We get purified. Wonderful. So purification happens. And then through that, slowly, then we move to Bhakti Yoga. Okay. What is Jnana Yoga? Yes, Mataji? Knowledge about the Godhead. So connecting God through the knowledge. Okay. So that's the reason the process of Jnana Yoga is meditation. Okay. What is next? Astanga Yoga. Astanga Yoga or Dhyana Yoga. Okay. What is the Astanga Yoga?
Through eightfold method, we try to connect with God.
Yes. Okay. So through the eightfold method, we try to connect with the God. Okay. And the process includes, of course, the asana, and then at the advanced stage, dhyana. Okay. So that's the Astanga Yoga. And the prerequisite for Jnana and Astanga Yoga, is there a prerequisite?
Yes, purification of self.
Yeah.
Through
we cannot start the Jnana Yoga and Astanga Yoga without getting purified. So first one has to get purified, then one can begin the Jnana Yoga or Astanga Yoga. And because are we purified? No. So then now, okay, so Jnana Yoga and Dhyana Yoga is gone. So what remains? Karma Yoga. But what we are going to learn, Bhakti Yoga, there is no precondition also. And Bhakti Yoga includes all the Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Dhyana Yoga. How? Because what is Bhakti Yoga? We are doing the action for Supreme. So we are
Krishna.
working, so we are connecting. So there is no, I'm not expecting anything in result. So Karma Yoga is done. In the process, we are acquiring knowledge about God, and then we are meditating on that. So what happens? What is that? No, but which yoga is that? Now I'm acquiring knowledge
Jnana
from
Yoga.
Jnana Yoga. We are acquiring knowledge about God and meditating on that because I am acquiring. And that is chapter 7. That chapter 7, chapter 8 will be going on that. Okay. And then in Astanga Yoga, what happens? Is what is ultimately Samadhi? Samadhi, what happens? All the time you are thinking about the object, and the God, right? Now, if Bhakti Yoga, it says, Man mana mad mad bhakto. We'll be learning in chapter 9 that all the time our mind is thinking about Krishna. And we are just meditating on that. When we're talking about that. That's the Samadhi. So now by doing bhakti yoga, we are getting all those benefits. On top of that, then we are getting the love of God, which none of the yoga system by itself gives the love of God. So bhakti yoga gives the love of God, which is the ultimate. So that's what we are going to learn in this chapter, starting chapter 7. Okay. So this is the rescue plan, right? So we are caught up in this material world and how to get there. So chapter 7 will start telling us about the rescue plan. Okay. So let's go to the okay, because everything got closed due to my restarting the machine.
Prabhu, Samadhi means like all day 24 hours thinking about that project or God, or just if like in 24 hours for few seconds we can we attain Samadhi like for few seconds.
So what I've heard once that the definition of samadhi, and I haven't read about it, so I heard in a lecture that in the state of samadhi, like for 2.5 minutes or 3 minutes, you're not aware of anything. You're totally your focus is totally on the God. No awareness anything else other than the God. Right? So minimum that's the required. Then once one is called that, you are getting into the samadhi stage. Okay. So yeah, the few seconds is not good enough. We should be able to focus much longer without any distraction, no other thoughts coming in your mind. Yeah. So that is the practice. Once we keep doing it, we'll get better and better. Okay. But all those will happen once we start loving God. Once we start loving God, then the focus will automatically increase. Right? Just think that when you got married, how much time you used to think about your husband? Quite a lot. Quite a lot, right? Because you're feeling affectionate towards your husband. Aja Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Yeah. So, what I like, Saurabh Prabhu comes always smiling. I bless you, Prabhu. You keep smiling. It's wonderful. Okay. And I never use this word that I bless you. I don't know why I said bless you. Krishna, I spoke through my movie, or I don't know why. But yeah, well, I don't think I am good enough to say somebody bless. Okay, so here is the knowledge of the absolute. So here are the sections. So the first section will be talking about the glory of the knowledge about Lord. Yes, Prabhuji, पूरा full on कर दो. Yes, thank you. एक बाइट कम कर दीजिए. एक हाँ बस अब ठीक हो जाएगा शायद. Okay, so the first section will be talking about the glory of knowledge about Lord Krishna. That just before giving the knowledge, it says what is the advantage of learning about the knowledge of Krishna is going to talk about. The second section will be talking about the knowledge of Lord Krishna as energy. So Lord, what we are going to learn, how this material world and the spiritual world, everything is the creation of Krishna. So that's what we are going to learn. Okay, and then once we have learned how to surrender, and like who are the people, what kind of people who come and surrender to Krishna, and who are the people who don't surrender to Krishna. So surrendering onto Krishna. And then 20 to 25 is going to talk about improper surrender. It says demigod worship and impersonalism. So improper surrender. People think that if I do the demigod worship, oh, that is bhakti. If I just focus on the sunya, so what you call sunyavad, focus on the void, then that's surrender. What you are going to learn, that what Krishna has to say. Krishna is going to say that that's a way not correct. Okay. And then from Maya, so we are all caught up in the material world. So we are at a level 0. From 0 to 100, how to reach there? What is the path? Okay. So that's chapter 7 in a nutshell. Okay, so let's get it started. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Sakta Mana Partha Yoga Munjan Madashraya Asamashyam Samagram Mam Yatha Jnana Shri Tachanu. So Takshanu is the key word here, right? So you'll be seeing this is the key word. Takshanu. Okay? Takshanu. And Takshanu means hear. Here. So our whole bhakti starts from hearing. They start from hearing. See, like how the child learns. Before they'll see anything, they hear. So we are created, the hearing is the most important part of our being. Of all the senses, hearing is the most important and most trustworthy. Of our senses are imperfect, but hearing is the best. And if the hearing is done through the authority who are teaching us the real knowledge, then it goes into our mind and we change. Okay. So here what the translation is, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, now hear, O son of Pṛthā, how by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt. So how do I know that it is a bhakti yoga? Because whenever they start saying that consciousness of me. So if the connection is being made to the God, attached to me, know me in full, right? So three times the connection, Lord is making the connection. How we can know him in full, right? So if we want to learn about somebody, how can I learn about somebody who I don't know? Pardon me?
By hearing and
Knowing about person, and then going to the person asking, hey Sridhar, please tell me what you like. Right? So here Krishna is, so through the dialogue between Arjuna and Krishna understand now Arjuna really wants to know about me. So now he is going to reveal. So now there is a very tight connection between them. So until then, so they were making the trust. You want to get a relationship with anybody? First, we build the trust. When the trust is there, then the person will start revealing that what I am looking for. But until then, it's also superficial. Okay, so relationship, being a friend, is very, very important. Okay. Krishna, now, okay, even the other is it possible to know Krishna in full? So how Krishna is saying that you will know me in full? What he means by that?
Learning as much as possible, the closest that one can get.
I think I'll take that. So he's going to tell us as much as is required for us to achieve Krishna. Okay. So in principle, he's going to divulge everything. But detail, nobody can ever understand all the detail about Krishna. So detail, we may not understand everything, but all principles will be divulged by Krishna. All principles will be divulged by Krishna. So Krishna is full in all opulences, and how he manifests such opulence is described herein. Also, 4 kinds of fortunate people who become attached to Krishna and 4 kinds of unfortunate people who never take to Krishna are described in this chapter. So Prabhupada in this purport is kind of giving the introduction to this chapter. In the first 6 chapter of Bhagavad Gita, non-material spirit soul. So non-material spirit. So we are not material, right? Non-material spirit soul capable of elevating himself to self-realization by different types of yogas are described. At the end of the 6th chapter, it has been clearly stated that the steady concentration of the mind upon Krishna, or in other words, Krishna consciousness, is the highest form of all yoga. The yoginam api sarvesham madagatiyantar atmana. So he says that in the last verse that of all the yoga, bhakti yoga is the highest. By concentrating one's mind upon Krishna, one is able to know the absolute truth completely. By concentrating one's mind upon Krishna, one is able to know the absolute truth completely, but not otherwise. So only way to learn about Krishna is we have to make our mind friend of Krishna, and then Krishna will start divulging the truth about himself. Otherwise, not possible. We can read it, but it won't get into our head. There no transformation will happen. So only transformation will happen when we start really concentrating and thinking Krishna is my friend, or I am servant of Krishna. Impersonal Brahma Jyoti or localized Paramatma realization is not perfect. So a lot of people, they do the focus on the voidism, right? So that is what we are going to learn. That is not perfect knowledge of the absolute truth because it is partial. Why it is partial? Is only one of the aspect of how many aspects? three different aspects of knowing Krishna. So it's only one aspect, which is the Brahman aspect. The localized form and the Krishna as Swayam as Bhagavan is not realized in the Brahma Jyoti. Full and scientific knowledge is Krishna, and everything is revealed to the person in Krishna consciousness. In complete Krishna consciousness, one knows that Krishna is ultimate knowledge beyond any doubts. Different type of yogas are only a stepping stone on the path of Krishna consciousness. And when one can know everything in full, namely the absolute truth, the living entities, the material nature, their manifestation with paraphernalia. So these are all the principles we are going to know, that who is Krishna, what does it mean to be absolute truth, who are we, the living entities, and what is our relationship with Krishna. Okay, we'll learn about that. What is this material nature, why this material nature is created, what is the nature of the material nature, and their manifestation, like what, so how this material nature is made of, right? What is the characteristic, along with the paraphernalia, all the things within the material nature. So this is a very nice reference from Srimad Bhagavatam. So in the Srimad Bhagavatam, this process of understanding Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the absolute truth, is described in the second chapter of first canto as follows. So it says, Sharvatam Swa Katha Krishna Punya Sharvana Kirtana Hridayanthastato he Abhadrani Vidnoti Suharsatam Naste Preshya Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtaki Tada Rajastamo Bhava Kama Lobhasya Sheya Chetatir Anaviddham Stitam Sattva Prasiddhati Evam Parasara Manaso Bhagavad Bhakti Yogata Bhagavad Tattvata Vikyanam Mukta Sangasya Jayate Vidyate Hridaya Granti Chidyante Sarva Samsaya Shishyante Shasya Karmani Drishta Evata Manishvare. So in the temple every day morning we recite this. Now we are just going to hear about this. Okay, just hear carefully. To hear about Krishna from Vedic literature or to hear from him directly through the Bhagavad Gita is itself a righteous activity. You see, hear from Krishna or hear from him directly itself is a righteous activity. And for one who hears about Krishna, Lord Krishna, who is dwelling in everyone's heart, acts as a best wishing friend and purifies the devotee who constantly engages in hearing of him. So see, this is talking about the science. So why the hearing process works? So you understand the science. The hearing process works because then Krishna is telling, his Paramatma is sitting as a localized form. He's thinking, oh, Gaurav Prabhu is listening. He's trying to hear. He's trying to hear. So Krishna becomes very compassionate. Gaurav Prabhu is really trying to spend time trying to understand me. Then what he does, he start purifying my heart. Gaurav Prabhu has a lot of anarthas, right? Just like all of us has a lot of anartha. So Krishna will start purifying his heart. So this is the first thing. For one who hears about Krishna, Lord Krishna dwelling in everyone's heart as Paramatma, acts as the best wishing friend, because the friend is only who's going to help, right? And what he does, he purifies the devotee who constantly engages in hearing of me. So one thing is constantly hearing, right? Constant hearing is not today I hear a little bit and then next 1 year I don't hear anything. It's not going to, because I have to show that I want to know about you, Krishna. I really want to know about you, Krishna. I don't get it. Please help me understand you. Then Krishna will start helping me. In this way, a devotee naturally develops his dormant transcendental knowledge. Can anybody tell me what does it say?
Transcendental knowledge
Very good, very
is
good.
there in everyone's heart. And
Yes,
yeah.
yes. Mataji also mentioned the same thing, that it is there already in our heart. It's just bringing it again, rekindling it. The fire is there, just like it is diminished. So you just bring it, clean it up, and the fire suddenly starts burning. Okay. As he hears more, so now Krishna is helping, right? And then he's cleaning it, and with that my dormant transcendental knowledge is developing. And as he hears more about Krishna, so as he hear more about Krishna from the Bhagavatam and from the devotees, he becomes fixed in the devotional service of the Lord. So initially what happens? So there are different stages, right? So you start with the Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajan Kriya, Anarth Nivritti. Okay, so Anarth Nivritti is where my heart is getting purified. And then what happens after that? Determination. What is the Hindi? Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajan Kriya, Anarth Nivritti.
Bhajan sadhana?
No, Mataji, no. Okay, it's a determination. I'll get the word. I'll remember it. So then one gets determined. Hari bol Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, I was not able to remember. After Anarth Nivritti, what is the stage? The word? Nishtha, determination. Okay, Nishtha, the steadiness. Okay, determination. So now, so Nishtha. So one develop the Nishtha, and by development of devotional service, one becomes freed from the mode of passion and ignorance. So right now we are being influenced by all the three modes, especially passion and ignorance. We start getting free from that. So that's the Krishna's special mercy. The three modes are Krishna's servant, right? So the special mercy has start happening. We start getting freed from the mode of passion and ignorance, and thus material lust and avarice are diminished. So like we are looking for our own sense gratification, right? This start getting diminished. So when these impurities are wiped away, so now see, our cleansing are happening. So I am getting connected with Krishna. The things which are holding me out, that is being cut, which is the three modes of nature. So all the things are happening, right? I am dirty right now, and I am being held by the three modes of nature. Now, as I am hearing, I am getting clean. These things are cut, which is holding me. Now, what the purification process will start really, like start bubbling up, right? So when these impurities are wiped away, the candidate remains steady in his position of pure goodness. So now, so there is a goodness, and there is something called pure goodness. Okay, in the goodness also there is some expectation. I want to. People should recognize me that I am a great devotee. I am a wonderful teacher. People have this subtle thing, right? Means they will have those things also starts going away. There's nothing, no trace like that. And they becomes enlivened by devotional service and understand the science of God perfectly. So they understand the science of God perfectly. Thus, Bhakti Yoga severs the hard knot of material affection and enables one to come at once at the stage of asamshayam samagram, which means understanding of the Supreme Absolute Truth, personality of the Godhead. So these are the 4 verses from Bhagavatam, which essentially tells us how the listening enable us to become a pure devotee. So this is a very scientifically, it has been told herein. Okay, so therefore only by hearing from Krishna or from his devotee in Krishna consciousness can one understand the science of Krishna. Okay, Prabhuji, if you don't mind, you are here. It will be wonderful that we all hear from you. No, Prabhu, please come, Prabhu. See, I was really thinking it's chapter 7, Prabhu. So chapter 7. Yeah. So you are a perfect teacher to come and just teach us. Please come, Prabhu, come. श्रीधर प्रभु श्रीधर बुलाओ प्रभु को कम प्रभु प्लीज कम No, I can do, but I don't want you to stop in the middle. You can do it.
Hare Krishna.
You want your laptop?
No, it's okay.
Your laptop is transparent.
Shri Shinitari Maya Chaitanya Sundar Bhagavan ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you.
for coming for the Bhagavad Gita class, systematic study of Gita. As you all have been hearing, Gita is the summum bonum of all knowledge. Why?
Directly.
Krishna said directly, that is good. What else?
It is the essence of all Upanishads, which reveals about Krishna.
Very good. It's the essence of all Upanishads. Why Upanishads are important? We are saying essence of all the Upanishads. That means essence. Upanishad should be important, right?
So Upanishads talks about connecting back to God, who we are truly, and how can we connect back to God through different means.
That's good. What else?
They are derived from Vedas.
They are derived from Vedas. That's good. What else? Any other opinion? Why Upanishads are considered important? Now we understand Bhagavad Gita is the essence of all Upanishads. That's why we are saying Bhagavad Gita is the essence, summum bonum of all knowledge. Then why? That means Upanishads should have some status, no? Why?
Upanishads come at the end of Vedas, Prabhu.
Upanishads comes at end of Vedas. Upanishads are also known as Vedanta. Veda means what? Knowledge, simply knowledge. Anta means end or conclusion. The conclusion of all the Vedas is there where?
Upanishads.
Vedas contains 4 categories of knowledge, or 4 types of books inside. First is called Samhita. When generally people say Veda, they refer to Samhita only.
Are you talking about Samveda?
Yeah, Rig, Yajur, Sama, Atharva, these 4 Vedic books we have. Those 4 Vedic books, generally when we say Rig, Yajur, Sama, Atharva, they are referring to the Samhita portion of the Vedas. Samhita means literally prayers. Prayers glorifying different personalities. Indra, Chandra, Surya, Vayu, Varna, right? Lord Shiva, Lord Vishnu, all of them are glorified in various types of prayers in Samhitas. And generally when we say people Vedas, they are actually pointing out to only Samhitas. But that's not just the Vedas. They are corresponding to every Samhita. There is a portion called Brahmana. Because Samhitas gives the prayers. How to worship those personalities using those prayers, we need to know the ritual, the procedures. Those are explained in books called some Brahmanas. Okay. There are various Samhitas, various divisions of Samhitas are there. Within Rig Veda, there are so many divisions of Samhitas are there, subdivisions called Saka. So Yajurveda, again, many subdivisions are there. Atharvaveda, many subdivisions are there. Upanishad and Samaveda, many subdivisions are there. Corresponding to every subdivision of the Samhita, there will be a corresponding Brahmana, which explains you, which tells you how to, using those Samhitas, conduct rituals or do the worship of the particular personality glorified in the particular prayer. Does it make sense? Now, corresponding to every Samhita, there will be a corresponding Brahmana. Corresponding to every Brahmana, there is a division of the Vedas called Aranyaka. Aranya means what? In general, forest. Aranyaka means generally when studied in forest, that's what it means. I'll tell you why. Aranyaka explains the esoteric meaning of all the prayers and rituals, worships. It doesn't give you fully the conclusion. It gives esoteric meaning of, oh, why we worship this, why we worship that, like that. That is in Aranyaka. Corresponding to every Aranyaka, there is a portion of Vedas called Upanishad. Upanishad gives you philosophical conclusion of all the Samhitas, Brahmanas and Aranyakas. So these are the 4 categories of Vedic knowledge available in the Vedas. If you take Rig Veda, there are so many Samhitas are there. Corresponding to every Samhita, there will be a Brahmana. Corresponding to a Brahmana, a Aranyaka. Aranyaka to Upanishads. There are totally 1100 and I think 60 or 80 Samhitas are there, including all the 4 books. That means corresponding to 1180 Samhitas, there will be that many Brahmanas, that many Aranyakas, that many Upanishads. Now what we have left is not even 10% of this. A lot of them are lost over a period of time. So Upanishads, they are called Vedanta because that is the concluding portion of the Vedic teaching, because it gives the philosophical conclusion of the Vedic knowledge. Understood? That is why Upanishads are considered to be Vedanta, which gives the conclusion of all the Vedic knowledge. How many Upanishads are there? Supposed to be there? 1160 or 80. I will remember the exact number later. Around that. That many Upanishads, when you study all those Upanishads, then you can conclude the Vedas. So there is one Upanishad which gives the conclusion of all this Upanishad. That Upanishad is called Gita Upanishad. Who is telling this? Now, Krishna had spoke Bhagavad Gita. Who is telling that Bhagavad Gita is the essence of all the Upanishads? Shankaracharya says, Sarva Upanishade Gavo Dokta Gopala Nandana. He's saying, if you consider all the Upanishads to be a cow, why people have cow? Generally, to take milk. If you have to get milk out of the cow, what do you need? Cow will release the milk only when there is a calf. Cow will give the milk for the calf. But if I need to get the milk, there is a cow herd has to be there. He has to get the milk out after the calf drinks. Who is the transcendental cowherd man milking all the Upanishad of the cow? Krishna, Tukta Gopala Nandana. Who is the Vatsa? Vatsa means what? Calf. Who is the Vatsa? Pṛthā is the Vatsa. Krishna is milking the Upanishads, which is like a cow. For who? Because this calf is asking for it. Who? Pṛthā. So after Pṛthā drinks, who is else drinking? Gita Amritam. What is coming out is Gita Amritam. Milk is also called Amritam. Gita Amritam. What is coming? Krishna is milking all these Upanishads. What is coming out? Gita Amritam. After Arjuna drank, who is drinking? All great Mahat. Mahat means great devotees, great transcendentalists. They are all drinking Gita Amritam. That is why Bhagavad Gita is considered to be the essence of all knowledge. There in the introduction, go Mataji, go to the introduction page. Introduction. Keep going further down. Almost to the end of introduction. Yeah. Go back. Go back. Yeah. Give me that. I'll show you.
You're looking for the.
Yeah, here it is there.
Yeah, 8.
Page number 29, right? The middle of this paragraph. Read. You can read Sanskrit transliteration. Sarva Upanishada. Sarva Upanishada Gavo. Nandana.
Patho Vatsa
Sudhir
Bhokta
Bhokta.
Dugadam Gita Amritam
Mahat. This is Gita Mahatmya, 6th, right? 6th verse. Yeah. So Shankaracharya had glorified Bhagavad Gita in 7 verses called Gita Mahatmya. One of these verses this. Can you read the paragraph next in English translation?
This Gita Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita, the essence of all the Upanishads, is just like a cow, and Lord Krishna, who is famous as a cowherd boy, is milking this cow. Arjuna is just like a calf, and learned scholars and pure devotees are to drink the nectarian milk of Bhagavad Gita.
So Bhagavad Gita is the essence of all knowledge. And how many verses Krishna had spoken? Just 700 verses. How is it possible to condense so much of knowledge in just 700 verses? Is it possible? Only it is possible by Bhagavan, by nobody else. Ordinary human beings cannot condense the essence of all knowledge in 700 slokas. So this Bhagavad Gita, that's what we have been studying. You're all Mahat, you're all great, because you're all studying Bhagavad Gita. Now this Bhagavad Gita, how many chapters are there? 18 chapters. How many chapters we completed? 6 chapters. So this Bhagavad Gita 18 chapters are generally divided into 3 divisions. The first 6 chapters are called Karma Yoga section. The middle 6 chapters are called Bhakti Yoga section. The last 6 chapters are called Jnana Yoga section. What? Bhakti is not there in the first 6 chapters and the last 6 chapters. Jnana is not there in the first 6 chapters and the middle 6 chapters. It is there, but predominantly the more focus is given, as you said, Prabhuji, is there in Karma Yoga is talked. Karma means literally what?
Actions.
Action. Simple. The activities or actions the individual living entity has to take by his own effort, so that he can purify his existence, so that he can understand reality as it is. The living entity, they have to make their own endeavors by Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga and Dhyana Yoga. These are the things start in the first 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita. Karma means what? Action, work. In general, work also you can say. Bhagavad Gita, the first chapter is a prelude or connection. Why this was spoken? In what context it was spoken? The second chapter is the summary of the entire Bhagavad Gita. Krishna Bhagavad Gita should be over by second chapter. But Arjuna had doubt in application. Hence he asked a question in the beginning of the third chapter. Then third chapter, Karma Yoga is spoken. Karma Yoga means work in connection to the Supreme. How to perform work in connection to the Supreme. In general, we all do work. When you do work, what happens? Results come. Every work will have a result. When the result comes, there are 2 possibilities. The performer of the work, if he is attached to the fruits of the work, that work is called Sakama Karma. In general, when people are doing work, they are attached to the fruits. When they are attached to the fruits, what comes along with it? misery, reactions to the work. Every activity we do, it also has some fault in it. So hence, I need to, along with that, when we are attached to the fruits of the work, along with that comes suffering. To a person who understands this, I am doing work if I'm attached to the results. I get suffering. Why is that? When he starts making an inquiry, at that time he graduates from a karma yogi to a jnana yogi. I'm doing all this work. If I'm attached to the work, I'm suffering. So hence I need to give up the attachment to the fruits. Now if I keep on doing work, the fruits are coming. If I keep on giving up the fruits away, there has to be some beneficiary for all these fruits. When he starts searching for who is the beneficiary of the work, the fruits of all the work I'm doing, at that time he graduates into a jnana yogi. He starts searching who is the beneficiary. Is this table getting benefit? No, this is matter, not this. Is this house getting benefited? No, this is matter. Like that, he goes on everything in this world. Not this, not this, not this. Na iti, na iti. Na iti becomes neti with sandhi. Neti, neti, neti. He rejects everything, searching for who is the beneficiary of the work. At that time, he concludes that this is beyond my capacity. I am not able to, by searching, I am not able to find out. Everywhere searching in the world, I am not able to find out. Maybe that is inside. At that time, he gives up all the work. He gives up all the study, starts sitting in one place. And before that, there's one more step. That if I'm doing the work, if I'm attached to the fruits, misery is coming, then let me give up the results. That is Nishkama Karma Yoga. That is actually the 5th chapter. But by doing all this work, giving up all this work, somebody has to be benefiting. Who is that benefit? Let me search. I'm not able to find anywhere in this world. Then let me start searching inside. At that time, he graduates from Jnana Yogi to Dhyana Yogi. That is what the last chapter you studied. In Dhyana Yoga, it's a mechanical process where he sits, he leaves home. Where he goes? He goes to the forest, or he goes to a holy place, goes to a secluded place, sets up a seat, puts a kushagrash, on top of it puts a deer skin or a tiger skin, sits in lotus posture, right? Keeps his eyes half closed, starts focusing on the tip of the nose, keeping his eyes half closed. Like that, controls the breathing. Then starts concentrating. This process, there are 8 steps in it. Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, and Samadhi. These are the 8 steps in Ashtanga Yoga or Dhyana Yoga. When he goes through this process, Dharana, Yama, Niyama, all understand do's and don'ts. Asana means sitting posture, making the body flexible so that I can sit in one place for a long time, not like me, like with a straight back. Pranayama means to control the breathing. By control the breathing, what happens? He can prolong his life, because this process of Ashtanga Yoga is going to take several 100,000 years. So by controlling the breathing, he prolongs his life. And then Pranayama, next comes Atyahara. Ahara means what? Food. Atyahara means withdrawing, not giving food. To who? Pratyahara. Means not giving food to the senses. Eyes are always wanting to see nice things. Nose are always wanting to smell nice things. Ears are always wanting to hear nice things. Tongue is always wanting to taste nice things. Skin is always nice, wanting to touch nice things. Like that, this five senses, when you don't give food to the five senses, that means the senses will get dried up. It becomes weak, becomes not getting agitated anymore. By not giving food to the senses, you are able to withdraw the senses from the sense objects. Hence, because along with the senses, all the senses are connected to what? Mind. Mind is the called sixth sense or the coordinating sense. So the senses are not giving data. If senses are not being fed with food, they are not passing information to mind. That means mind can subdue now. If you keep on seeing nice things, mind is getting agitated from the eyes. Keep on hearing, smelling, tasting. So mind is getting agitated. With this way, the mind agitation can be subdued. When the mind agitation is subdued by pratyahara, then mind can focus on something. That is called dharana. Dharana means what? Ability to concentrate the mind on something. You know, when we studied physics in the science in school, high school, like you take this convex lens, go into the sunlight, and then take the sunlight, and then all the parallel rays coming from the sun, it hits on the convex, it concentrates on one place in the focal length point, right? Then what happens if it concentrates? Burns. You put a paper here, fire starts, right? That process of concentrating the sun rays into one focal point, that is called dharana. Like that, if we can concentrate the mind on some one particular thing, that is called dharana. In the beginning stage of dharana, he will put a black dot and focus only on the black dot, or put a lamp, try to focus only on that lamp. Like that, he practices the mind, the ability to focus on only one thing. Mind is like what? Monkey. It jumps from one to another with no time. In 1 second, it can go to India and come back. Not 1 second, 1 microsecond, faster than speed of light. Right? Mind is always jumping from one to other. The mind, when it's subdued and it can focus on one particular thing, that is dharana. By training the mind, the ability to focus on one thing by this process of dharana, next comes dhyana. What does dhyana means? In general, people translate as meditation. Dhyana means only one thing. It meant for when we start focusing on the super soul and the heart. We trained our mind to focus on something through dharana. Now, the ability of the mind to focus on something, you direct it towards the super soul and the heart. That process of concentrating on the super soul using the mind is called dhyana. When I say I am meditating, means meditating, the word dhyana can be used only when we direct our concentration towards super soul and the heart. The word dhyana is only applicable for that. Dhyana word cannot be used for anything else. I can't say I am meditating on my vacation. I can't say I am meditating on Indra, Chandra. No. Meditation means, dhyana means it's meant only for who? Super soul and the heart. When that meditation, it becomes uninterrupted, nothing in this world externally, no food, no weather, nothing can disturb me. When that meditation becomes completely absorbed, nothing can disturb in this world. That uninterrupted meditation becomes samadhi. Samadhi means when we are able to focus on the Paramatma in the heart, super soul in the heart, without nothing, no food is required, water is required, no sleep. You can go on for days. At that time, samadhi, when he comes to state of samadhi, he sees Paramatma in the heart. Paramatma, he sees Paramatma, he perceives Paramatma in the heart. Oh, he is the beneficiary of everything. All the works. In the 5th chapter we studied, 5th chapter last verse. Bhoktaram yajya tapasam sarvaloka mageshwaram sugurdam sarva bhutanam nyatvam shantim richati, Krishna said. So he is the benefactor of all the tapasya, all the work people perform. Who is the ultimate beneficiary of all this work? Here is there. This is Paramatma. This Paramatma is size of a thumb in the heart. After seeing Paramatma in the heart, after realizing Paramatma in the heart, if that yogi is properly trained, he immediately surrenders to Paramatma and starts serving him. I am an eternal servant of this Paramatma. He is the enjoyer of everything. He is the owner of everything. He is the supreme controller, supreme proprietor, supreme enjoyer of everything. Purpose, I am part of that supreme. Purpose of the part is to serve the whole. At that time, he starts rendering loving devotional service to Paramatma in the heart. At that time, he graduates from Dhyana Yogi to Bhakti Yogi. The kind of bhakti he performs, there is no, tinge of the modes. It's directly he's performing bhakti at the bhava platform. As earlier Damodar Hari Prabhu was mentioning, bhakti manifests in 9 stages. Adava Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivritti, Nishta, Ruchi, Ashakti, Bhava, Prema. So Bhava is the pure love for God. Nothing is, there is no contamination is there. There is no without expecting anything, pure love for God is called bhava. When that love for God is expressed in one particular type of emotion, that is called bhava. When somebody experiences love for God in many type of emotions arises, that's called prema. So initial stage of prema is called bhava. So a yogi who got already purified by karma yoga, dhyana yoga, right? Jnana yoga, all of them went through the purification by his own individual effort, by performing all the duties, not being attached, by understanding, studying everything in this world, that these are all not the benefactors. Then starting inside by concentrating the mind, coming the mind for finally ability to see Paramatma in the heart. All this is by his own endeavor he did. After that, after seeing Paramatma, he is completely in that state, surrenders to Paramatma and starts loving service to him. At the time, he graduates into a Bhakti Yogi. So, when the living entity has to, by his own endeavor, do all these type of activities, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Dhyana Yoga, to purify his existence. That means he realizes that I am Atma, I am spirit. Purpose of the Atma is to serve Paramatma, super spirit. This gradually by his own endeavor he came. This is all explained in the first 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita. Because it is his own endeavor of the living entity, that is why it's called Karma Yoga section. After graduating, right, from Dhyana Yogi to Bhakti Yogi, if I want to do loving service to somebody, if I'm in love with somebody, I need to know information about that person, right? I can't love and serve somebody without knowing anything about that person. I need to know knowledge about the object of love. all those description of object of the love and how to serve the object of the love, that is described in the middle 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, starting from the 7th chapter. That is why this middle 6 chapters are called Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga means pure, unallied, loving, devotional service unto the Supreme. That is called Bhakti. The loving exchange between the Lord and the living entity is called Bhakti. So in order to perform Bhakti, in the Bhakti, what are the 3 things are there? Bhagavan, Bhakta, and the process of Bhakti. There are 3 things. When we say Bhakti Yoga, means 3 things are there. Bhagavan, the object. When we say love, means the object of love, the lover, and the act of love. 3 things are required. So first we need to know enough information about the object of the love. Who can give the knowledge about the object of the love? Object itself. That is why it's called Jnana Vijnana Yoga. 7th chapter, Krishna is giving, Prabhupada translates as knowledge of the absolute. Krishna is telling in the first chapter, for the first verse, what did you read in the 7th chapter? First verse, what did you? Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Shakta Manapartha Yogam Unjam Madashrayah Asamshayam Samagramam Yata Nyashishi Tachrunu. Just hear from me. I am giving knowledge about myself. By understanding this, you will be completely absorbed in me. You will actually become my pure devotee. Right? He's saying the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, now hear, O son of Partha, how by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt. All this practice of all these yogas, Krishna earlier described Karma Yoga, Karma Sannyasa Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, and Ashtanga Yoga, the Jnana Yoga, all of them will bring you to Bhakti. In the last chapter, 6th chapter, what Krishna, last verse already say. What is the last verse of the 6th chapter? Yoginam api sarvesham mat katenandar atmanah shraddhavan bhajate yomam same yukta tamo matah. After describing all this yoga process and yogi, Krishna is telling of all the yogis, who is the topmost yogi? The one who always thinking of me, the one who abides in me, the one renders devotional service unto me with faith. Such a person is the topmost yogi. This is my opinion. Krishna is called Yogeshwara because he is the master of all the yogas. Krishna's opinion matters on yoga. If you need to know the best opinion about all the yogas you want to get, who should give that? Krishna. And Krishna is giving, that is my opinion. Who is the topmost yogi? Is the Bhakti Yogi. Now, how to perform that Bhakti Yogi? That is why in the 7th chapter starts. Krishna is telling, by becoming yoga in full consciousness of me, now hear from me, by knowing that I am going to reveal about me, knowledge about me. Now you will know everything about me so that you can completely love me, completely render devotional service to me. Now you got the connection why we are in the 7th chapter. First verse Krishna is telling. So it's always important to understand when we read a verse, what was the build up, why we ended up in this verse now, what is the context in which it's be spoken. We should always understand that. That way we will know the importance of that particular verse. Now Krishna said, now the Prabhu nicely explained how this is actually ultimately gives knowledge about Krishna so that we can render loving devotional service unto him. Right? How? By purification of the heart, we can simply love Krishna without any modes. That is what, when somebody goes through the gradual process of Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, right? He can purify, come to Bhakti Yoga. But Prabhuji, I have not done all these things. You are saying that it may take several lifetimes. to come up to the stage of Bhakti Yogi. If there is 100 floors are there in this building, going through the staircase requires so much of effort, right? I don't have all the life. I just know I have one human life. I want to do this because whatever this Krishna, this Bhakti, the Dhyana Yoga explained, Arjuna himself rejected, right? Arjuna himself said, Krishna, this is not possible for me. Tell me something more practical which I can do. It is impossible. I can control the raging wind, but I can't control my mind. Can you control raging wind? Forget about raging wind. Can you just blow a little bit of air blowing? Can you control? Arjuna says, I can control because he has weapons to even control air. Vayuastras he had. Such a person is saying, I can control raging wind, but I cannot control my mind. Whatever you said, I can't do it. Tell me something which I can do it practically. I am your friend. I'm surrendered already. Tell me. Now, instead of going through this gradual from Karma Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, Karma Sannyasa Yoga, no, Jnana Yoga, Karma Sannyasa Yoga, and Dhyana Yoga, the build-up Krishna gave, you can also directly come up to this Bhakti Yoga. By how? That is what we studied in the Bhagavatam. These 4 verses of Bhagavatam verses teaches the direct process of Bhakti. Either you can go by this staircase and reach the top to perform Bhakti, or you can go by the ladder, by the elevator and reach the top and perform Bhakti. That is called Shravanam Kirtanam. Shrinvatam Swakata Krishna. Punya Shravana Krishna. That's what in the purport explaining. Prabhupada explaining this is the beauty of Prabhupada's purport. Array, don't lose hope, even though you have not gone through all this gradual process of elevation, purification. You can still directly perform bhakti by direct process of bhakti called Shinvatam Svakata Krishna, by just hearing about Krishna and his activities from him, directly from him, Krishna himself, and from Krishna's representative, we can get purified. The same purification we can attain by hearing about Krishna. When we are purified, when the 3 modes are subsides, that's what explained in this. Regularly, right? Nashta praya shabit nityam bhagavat. By regularly hearing Bhagavatam, right? All the unwanted things will go away. One can actually subdue the modes. Tata rajas tamo bhava. Kama lobhais chaya cheshet. Chetayeter anaviddam. Sthitam sarve prasidati. Modes of tamo and rajo will subside, slowly will come to mode of goodness. From mode of goodness, he can transcend even the mode of goodness, come to mode of pure goodness, Suddha Sattva. Suddha Sattva means I am spirit, supreme spirit, I am serving, nothing else is there. Everything is seeing in that connection. There is no modes is touching him. The same thing can be achieved. This is the power of Bhakti Vedanta purport. Somebody who goes through Bhagavad Gita, just the verses, he'll be stunned. I have to go through all these things to come here. Array, I don't know. Now Prabhupada is giving in the purports a way. You can directly perform this bhakti. How to perform this bhakti? This when you read the 7th chapter, knowledge of Krishna will come. 8th chapter, right? When a knowledge of Krishna comes, if you think of Krishna only at the end of life, you can leave this world and go to spiritual world, attaining the supreme 8th chapter. Now, after attaining supreme, what you will do? Ananya Bhakti, unallied pure devotion. That is 9th chapter. Rajavidya Rajago Yoga. Then Krishna himself is saying, Vibhuti Yoga. Okay, still this all great, but still I'm living in this world. All the things I'm seeing, how can I perceive Krishna? Krishna is telling about Vibhuti Yoga in the 10th chapter. Then how he is pervading through everything in this world. That is Vishwarupa Yoga. After saying all these things, now perform Bhakti. That's the 12th chapter. Bhagavad Gita should be over by 12th chapter. Bhakti is the conclusion, right? But After knowing all these things, still we have to live in this world. If you have to live in this world, the material modes are there. That material modes will get affect you. You need to know how the world is working so that you can avoid the rajas and tamas. For that, you need to know the working of this world. How the three modes are controlling everything. Those inner workings of this material world is described in the last 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita. After knowing bhakti, still you have to live in this world such a way that you can accept things which are favorable, reject things which are unfavorable to bhakti. Because till end of the life, I have to live in this world. But in the now, after getting this knowledge, till end of the life, if again I am getting contaminated, I'll get trapped. I need to stay uncontaminated. That means I need to know how the world is working. Who can explain how the world is working? Only Krishna, the creator of the world. He explains in the last 6 chapters the 3 modes of material nature, 3 divisions of faith, and then because of Rajas and Tamas, the 2 type of people, Asuras and Devas. Like that, he elaborates so that we can accept things which are favorable, reject things that are unfavorable. Predominantly, knowledge of this world, knowledge of the inner workings of this world, knowledge of the inner workings of the material energy is given. That's why it's called Jnana Yoga section, the last 6 chapters. The first 6 chapters and the last 6 chapters are in order to support bhakti. Entire Bhagavad Gita is all about bhakti only. Every verse of Bhagavad Gita is actually telling bhakti. But those are supporting factors to help our bhakti. Understood? Now let's look at the verse what we are supposed to read. Jnanam tegam savijnanam idam vakshyami asheshataka yajnatva nega bhuyonyaj jnatavyam avishashyate. He's saying Jnanam, phenomenal knowledge. Te, unto you, aham, I, sa, with vijnanam, numinous knowledge. Idam, this, vakshyami, shall explain. Asheshataha, in full. Yat which jnatva, knowing. Na, not. Iha, in this world. Bhuyaha, further. Anyat, anything more. Jnatavyam, knowable. Avishyate, remains. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. I shall now declare unto you in full this knowledge, both phenomenal and numinous. This being known, nothing further shall remain for you to know. Now Krishna is telling, I am giving knowledge. What is he giving? Phenomenal and numinous. What is phenomenal and numinous? Knowledge of this world and knowledge beyond this world.
Numinous means what? Beyond the world.
Beyond this world. We'll read it. Purport proper explains. By understanding this, there is nothing else needs, because Krishna is telling knowledge about himself. By knowing Krishna, there is nothing else to be known. Krishna is going to later tell, there is nothing superior to me. Nata parataram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya. Then another 2, 3, 4 verses later, Krishna is going to tell, there is no truth superior to me. Everything rests in me. Like how, if you take a pearl necklace, all these beautiful pearls are strung together by what? A string. String is the basis of the pearl necklace. If there is no string, the whole necklace will not exist. It will collapse. Like that, the entire creation is sustained by me. Sutre Manigana. How? Sutra is the thing which holds all the monies in a Manigana. Like that, I am the one sustaining everything. There is no truth superior to me. Who is telling this? Krishna. Purport. Complete knowledge includes knowledge of the phenomenal world, the spirit behind it, and the source of both of them. This is transcendental knowledge. Knowledge of this world, and there is knowledge of the spirit, And then there is somebody who is behind matter and spirit. Knowledge of the Supreme. This is the complete knowledge. This is transcendental knowledge. The Lord wants to explain the above mentioned system of knowledge because Arjuna is Krishna's confidential devotee and friend. In the beginning of the 4th chapter, this explanation was given by the Lord, and it is again confirmed here. Complete knowledge can be achieved only by the devotee of the Lord in disciplic succession directly from the Lord. Therefore, one should be intelligent enough to know the source of all knowledge. Who is the source of all knowledge? Krishna. By all knowledge, who is supposed to be known? Krishna. And who is the compiler of all this knowledge? Krishna. This he will tell in the 15th chapter. Sarvasya chakam hridishanni vishto mata smritir jnanam apohanam cha vedaisha sarvair aham veva vedyo vedanta kritveda videva chakam. Vedaisha sarvair aham veva vedyo. By all Vedas I am to be known. Vedaisha sarver aham veva vedyo. Vedanta kritveda videva chakam. I am the compiler of Vedanta. In fact, I am the knower of all the Vedas. By all the Vedas, I am to be known. Right? That's what Prabhupada is telling here. Right? He is the source of all knowledge, who is the cause of all causes, and the only object for meditation and all types of practice, yoga practice. When the cause of all causes becomes known, then everything knowable becomes known. You don't have to know everything in this world. There is one thing which is the cause of everything, the root cause. If you know that, automatically everything else can be known. That is what Vedanta Sutra also tells. First sutra says, Atato Brahma Jignasa. Now, therefore, inquire into Brahman. Why? Because in the next verse he says, Brahman is the source from which everything emanated. Brahman is the source from which everything emanated. By knowing Brahman, everything else can be known. Atato Brahma Jigyasa. Now that you are in human body, now that your faculty of hearing, tasting, smelling, all of them is working properly, now that your discrimination can function properly, now we inquire into Brahman. What is that Brahman? Next sutra says, Janmadi Yashayataha, from which everything else emanated. How do you know about that? Brahman, Shastra Yonitvat, scriptures are the only way to know. Now Krishna is telling knowledge about himself. By knowing about Krishna, everything is known. Next verse, Krishna is telling, Manushyanam Sagashreshu Kaschit Yadati Siddhaye Yadatam Api Siddhanam Kaschin Mamveti Tatvataha. Krishna is telling, I'm going to give complete knowledge about myself. By knowing this, everything is known. You know, who can know? Many people are trying to know all this. Manushyanam Sagashreshu. Thousands of people, of human beings, many people are trying to attain perfection. But of all this, many people are trying to attain, thousands of people are trying to attain perfection. Hardly 1 out of 1,000 is attaining perfection. Out of 1 out of 1,000 of perfection, even 1 out of the 1,000 who attain perfection knows me in truth, hardly knows me in truth. Krishna is telling. Out of many thousands of among men, one may endeavor for perfection. And of those who achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. Basically, it comes to 1 in a billion. That's what he's saying. Many people, Krishna was on the planet 5,000 years ago. Many people saw him. Hardly few of them understood who Krishna is. You can count the Pandavas, including Draupadi, Bhishma, Vidura, Kunti. Only few people who know Krishna is. Everybody else, that maybe he's a little powerful, maybe he's like this, maybe he's like that. Krishna showed his Vishwarup in front of who? Duryodhan. And Duryodhan thought Krishna is a magician. After showing the Vishwaroop, he did not understand. He is so covered by Tamo and Rajo, he could not see. That's why even God comes in front of us and tells who he is. We can't understand because we are covered by Tamo and Rajo. Krishna is telling kindly through Bhagavad Gita who he is. Many people are rejecting Bhagavad Gita. Why? Because they can't understand Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita also they will misinterpret. When Krishna says Aham, surrender unto me. Krishna says Aham, Aham, Aham. Mama, Mata means Krishna is not talking. When he say Aham, it's not the Krishna, the person, the unmanifested thing within Krishna. That's what we need to surrender. They try to twist Krishna's word because they are covered by what? Raju and Tamo. That means the envy of Krishna. They can't accept. Krishna is the Supreme. They try to give an impersonal twist. Krishna is telling Aham. Krishna does not know Sanskrit or what? Aham means I. Mama means mine. Mata means from me. So people twist. It's very straightforward, simple. Because of covered by Rajo and Tamo, they can't understand. Purport. There are various grades of men out of many thousands. One may be sufficiently interested in transcendental realization to try to know what is self, what is the body, and what is the absolute truth. Generally, mankind simply engaged in animal propensities. What are they? Namely, Agara Nidra, Bhayamaitanam cha, eating, sleeping, defending, and mating. And hardly anyone is interested in transcendental knowledge. The first 6 chapters of Gita are meant for those who are interested in transcendental knowledge, in understanding the self, the super self, and the process of realization by Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, and discrimination of self from matter. Now we understand what I was telling? Why the first 6 chapters? They endeavor by the living entity to come up to the stage. However, Krishna can be known only by persons who are Krishna conscious. Other transcendentalists may achieve impersonal Brahman realization, for this is easier than understanding Krishna. Krishna is the Supreme Person, but at the same time is beyond the knowledge of Brahman and Paramatma. The yogis and jnanis are confused in their attempts to understand Krishna. Although the greatest of the impersonal Sripad Shankaracharya has admitted in Gita commentary that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his followers do not accept Krishna as such. Shankaracharya accepted Krishna. Narayana Paro Avyaktat. What does it mean? Avyakta means what? Beyond this manifested world. Narayana means Narayana Paro Avyaktat means Narayana is beyond all this manifestation. He is actually transcendental. He is the Supreme. He is the source of everything. This is the statement in the commentary to Bhagavad Gita. Who is telling? Shankaracharya. But unfortunately, Shankaracharya followers, they deviated from their boss. They think that Krishna is Maya. Everything is Maya, including Krishna. There is only one thing, Brahman. Brahman, Satyam, Jagat, Mityam. Jiva, matter, Paramatma, Jivatma, they are all Maya. They say there is only one thing, Brahman. That is why that theory is called Mayavada theory. That even Shankaracharya did not say that directly. He has to do some little bit of these things for a different purpose. It's like out of scope for our today's discussion. But it is mentioned very clearly by Shankaracharya that Narayana is Paro Avyaktat. Krishna, right? is not material. Right? His followers do not accept Krishna as such, for it is very difficult to know Krishna, even though one has transcendental realization of the impersonal Brahman. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the cause of all causes, the primeval Lord Govinda. Whose statement this is? Brahma. In Brahma Samhita, Ishvara Paramakrishna, Sachidananda Vigraha, Anadiradir Govinda, Sarva Karana Karanam. The 5th chapter of Brahma Samhita, the first verse, Lord Brahma is telling. Brahma Samhita means Brahma's prayers. Why Brahma was praying? After receiving all knowledge, the entire knowledge of the Vedas from Krishna, Brahma understood who he is, what he is supposed to do. Out of gratitude for receiving this knowledge, he is glorifying the Lord. That is called Brahma Samhita. Prayers. Where Brahma is glorifying Lord Krishna. In that 5th chapter, first verse is telling Ishvara Paramakrishna. Sachidananda Vigrahanadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. It is very difficult for the non-devotees to know him. Although non-devotees declare that the path of bhakti or devotional service is very easy, they cannot practice it. If the bhakti path is so easy, as the non-devotee class of men proclaim, then why do they take up the difficult path? Actually, the path of bhakti is not easy. The so-called path of bhakti practiced by unauthorized persons without knowledge of bhakti may be easy, but when it is practiced factually according to the rules and regulation, the speculative scholars and philosophers fall away from the path. Srila Rupa Goswami writes in Bhakti Rasamrta Sindhu, Shruti Smriti Puranadi Pancharatra Vidim Vina Aikantika Harer Bhaktir Utpatayaiva Kalpate. He is telling devotional service of the Lord that ignores the authorized Vedic scriptures like the Upanishads, Puranas, nor the Pancharatra is simply an unnecessary disturbance in the society. There are so many bhaktas who is propagating bhakti. They are all nonsense because they concoct. They are not following the scriptures. So many organizations are there. This marg, that bhakti, this bhakti, so many people are saying. But if they are not authorized, if they are not following the instructions of Bhagavad Gita, the Purana, Bhagavad Purana, right? They are simply concocting, manufacturing. That bhakti might look like easy. That is actually not the bhakti. That is imitation bhakti. That's what Prabhupada is telling. And Rupa Goswami is telling, bhakti needs to be done, bhakti towards Lord Hari. Harer Bhaktir has to be based on authorization from the scriptures by Shruti, Smriti, Puranadi, Pancharatri Vidim Veena. He's telling all the Upanishads. Shruti means Upanishads. Conclusion. Puranadi means by all the Puranas. Conclusion is Bhagavatam. Bhagavata Purana. And Pancharatra, meaning the actual how to worship bhakti was given by Narada Muni in Pancharatra. Narada Pancharatra. Right? All of them has to be corroborated. Without confirming, you can't manufacture bhakti. It's not whatever way you want to do it. Otherwise, if anybody performs bhakti like that, it simply becomes a disturbance in the society. Because general mass of people get diverted from the actual goal. It becomes a disturbance. It is not possible for the Brahman realized impersonalist or Paramatma realized yogi to understand Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as the son of Mother Yashoda or the charioteer of Arjuna. Even the great demigods are sometimes confused about Krishna. Muhyanti yat surayaha mam tu vedana kaschana. No one knows me as I am, the Lord says. And if one knows him, then samagatma sudurlabhaga, such a great soul is very rare. In the later chapter 7th, chapter 19th verse, we'll know. Bhagunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapatyate vasudeva sarvamiti samagatma sudurlabhaga. Connecting to this verse, Manushyanam Sahasreshu, Krishna concludes later. All the search after many births and deaths. a person in proper knowledge surrenders to me. Why? Vasudeva Sarvamiti. Everything is existing because of Vasudeva. After understanding that everything is existing because of Vasudeva, that person surrenders to me. This might take several lifetimes. Such a person is very rare. That's what it tells in the 7th chapter, 19th verse. That's what Prabhupada is paraphrasing here. Samagatma Sudarlabhaga, such a great soul is very rare. Therefore, unless one practices devotional service to the Lord, one cannot know Krishna as he is Tattvataha. Even though one is a great scholar or philosopher, only the pure devotee can know something of inconceivable transcendental qualities in Krishna. His being the cause of all causes, his omnipotence and opulence, and his wealth, fame, strength, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation. Because Krishna is benevolently inclined to his devotees. He is the last word in the Brahman realization, and the devotees alone can realize him as he is. Therefore, it is said, Ata Shri Krishna Namadi Nambaved Grahyam Indreyaga Sevan Mukehi Jivadav Swayameva Spuratyadaha. No one can understand Krishna as he is by the blunt material senses, but he reveals himself to the devotees, being pleased with them for their transcendental loving service unto him. This again, Prabhupada is quoting from Bhakti Rasamrta Sindhu by Rupa Goswami. The same thing we will see in the 10th chapter, the 4 nutshell verses of Bhagavad Gita. Krishna tells, because they are always worshipping me out of love, I give the intelligence through which they can come to me. Tesham Satatayuktanam Bhajatam Priti Purvakam Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam Yenamam Upayantite. I give the means, upaya, through which they can come to me. What is called Buddhi Yoga. I give the intelligence through which they can come to me. Why? Because they are always worshipping me out of love. Tesham Satatayuktanam Bhajatam Priti Purvakam. Only devotees can understand Krishna because Krishna, out of kindness towards the devotee, he reveals about himself. Nobody can know anything about the Supreme until otherwise Supreme wants to reveal about himself. It is impossible for the infinitesimal living entities to comprehend the infinite. Until otherwise, the infinite expresses about himself in a finite way. We cannot understand what that infinite is. Okay. We conclude here. Next week, nice verses are there. Coming, Krishna is going to phenomenal knowledge of this world, starting from Panchamahabhutas, earth, water, fire, air, and space. And then apart from that, the 3 elements of the subtle body, mind, intelligence, and false ego. These 8 energies, Krishna talks in the next verse. Bhumirapo anulo vayu tamano buddhirevache ahankara mitiyame binna prakriti ashtada. That verse we will see next week. Thank you very much. I know I took a long recap of the reason why I'm telling all this thing is this chapter is one of the most important chapter which Krishna reveals knowledge about himself, knowledge of the absolute. If there is one chapter in entire Bhagavad Gita, if you want to memorize this chapter. If you memorize this chapter and understand this chapter, nobody can argue with you in philosophy in this world. You can defeat any nonsense in this world. Because this chapter, knowledge of the absolute, entire chapter memorize. One chapter you want to memorize this one chapter. Because Krishna gives everything. Then you can understand all the different kind of isms in this world. Because by quoting Bhagavad Gita, the authority of Krishna, people will bow down. Because there is no, they can't refute Krishna's words. Nobody could ever refute Krishna's words. Because Krishna is directly giving the knowledge. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for coming, hearing. And you are all glorious because you are all Bhagunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavan Mam Prapatyate. You are all coming here to Gita. After many, many thousands of lives, people are coming to understand Krishna. You have come. That means Sa Mahatma Sudar Labhaga, you are all Mahatmas. Very rare. On a Sunday evening, you could be doing, Sunday afternoon, you could be doing many things in this world. You had given up all of them and come here to 19117 NE 64th way. Right? Coming here and sitting and hearing. That means you are all Mahatma. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Wonderful, right? Wonderful.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
We just keep, see, this was supposed to be started by you. Everything was arranged.
Arrangement.
Yeah,
because you had sent the message, I got somehow edited this.
I started the essence, so I didn't want it to start, and suddenly a page came, it said essence of Bhagavad Gita. Then I went over it, and then you came, and then you repeated the whole thing with more detail on the essence of Bhagavad Gita. Just ask the class, right? So this all just happened. It just Krishna's arranged.
Because your desire,
Yeah.
Krishna fulfills.
Yeah.
I am just an instrument in Krishna's devotee's hand. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Whatever I spoke, I am speaking for myself so that my mind listens regularly, so that I stay on the path. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Thank you. Hare Krishna. We stop here.
Yes.
Today is a very nice day. It's of Ekadashi. Very nice day to hear about Krishna. Ekadashi is a day where we should try to avoid all the material needs in this world, including the needs of the body, minimize even the eating, and include more time for hearing and chanting. That's why on this day, people take only anukalpa, means like basic necessity, some light food like fruits, roots. Definitely no grains, because scientifically also, grains on this day when we eat, it doesn't digest properly. It causes what? Toxin in the body, ama. So we should try to avoid at least eating grains on this day. There are many reasons, at least for health reason, one reason. Other reason is by minimizing the needs of the body, we can give more time towards hearing and chanting. Thank you very much on this auspicious Ekadashi day. This Ekadashi is called Vijaya Ekadashi. Very victorious, this Ekadashi. In victory of what? In victory of conquering the lusts and distractions in this world, so that we can focus. Ekeka Kurunandana, a focus on one thing. Like Arjuna, why is a great student? And all the students, Drona called, he showed far away one tree. In that tree, there was one green tree, and there was a green bird. Many people could not even see beyond the tree the bird, and some of them saw. And when he called Arjuna, he asked, "Do you see the bird?" He said, "No." "What do you see?" "I see only the eye of the bird." He didn't see the bird, he saw only the eye of the bird. He was so focused. Understood? He's so focused, Arjuna, like that. We should be so focused in this life to attain what? Krishna. Love for Krishna. Thank you very much. That's the victory we are all aspiring for from the distractions of this world. Hare Krishna. Hi.
You.
I'll stop the recording. Hare Krishna Punya Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Ram. Hare Krishna. Please.